Ethan Montgomery stood alone in his Manhattan penthouse, staring at the city lights that twinkled like distant stars. At 37 years old, he had everything money could buy. His tech company, Montgomery Industries, had revolutionized artificial intelligence and made him one of the youngest billionaires in America. But tonight, like every night for the past 4 years, success felt meaningless. The penthouse was perfect in every way. Modern furniture, expensive art on the walls, and floor-to-ceiling windows that offered breathtaking views. Yet it felt empty, cold, just like his heart had become since that terrible day when Victoria Sterling destroyed him in front of everyone who mattered. The day everything changed. His thing remembered it clearly, though he wished he could forget. The engagement party at the Plaza Hotel, 200 guests from high society, champagne flowing, and Victoria looking beautiful in her designer gown. He had loved her completely, trusted her with his deepest secret. The fertility specialist had given him difficult news. His chances of fathering children naturally were very low. He had shared this private information with Victoria, believing she would support him. Instead, she used it as a weapon. He had walked into the powder room hallway just in time to hear her laughing with her friends. Her voice carried clearly through the marble corridor. "Can you believe it? All that money, and he cannot even give me a baby. The doctors say his chances are almost zero. I cannot waste my youth on a defective husband. I need heirs, not just wealth." The words cut deeper than any knife. Within hours, the story spread through their social circles like wildfire. Poor Ethan Montgomery, so rich, yet so broken. The pity in people's eyes hurt worse than the mockery. He ended the engagement immediately. But the damage was done. Building walls of ice for years, Ethan threw himself into work. He expanded his company across 3 continents, launched 5 new products, and doubled his fortune. Every business meeting, every deal, every success was another brick in the wall he built around his heart. He stopped attending social events unless absolutely necessary. He kept relationships professional and distant. Grace Park, his assistant of 5 years, was one of the few people he trusted. Even she walked carefully around him, knowing how deeply Victoria's betrayal had wounded him. "Mr. Montgomery," Grace said one Friday afternoon, entering his office with a tablet. "The Children's Hospital Foundation Gala is tomorrow night. You committed to attending 6 months ago." Ethan frowned at his computer screen. "Send a donation instead. Double the usual amount." "Sir, you are the keynote speaker. They are expecting you." Grace's voice was gentle but firm. "You cannot hide forever. It has been for years." He looked up at her, seeing the concern in her eyes. Grace was more than an assistant. She was a friend, though he rarely admitted it. "Fine, 1 hour. Then I leave." Grace smiled. "That is all I ask. And sir, please try to enjoy yourself. Life is happening outside these office walls. An evening of unexpected beauty at the Children's Hospital." Foundation Gala was held at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Ethan arrived exactly on time, delivered his speech about the importance of funding pediatric research, and planned to leave immediately after. But something stopped him. Near the modern art wing, a woman stood before a painting, completely absorbed. She wore a simple navy dress, nothing like the expensive gowns surrounding her. Her dark hair fell in natural waves past her shoulders, and when she turned slightly, he saw her face. Beautiful, yes, but more than that. There was intelligence in her eyes, kindness in her smile as she spoke to the little girl beside her. "Mommy, why is the painting so colorful?" the child asked, tugging her mother's hand. "Because, sweetheart, the artist wanted to show how feelings can be bright and loud, not just quiet and gray. See how the red and yellow dance together? That is joy." The woman's voice was warm, patient, filled with genuine love. Ethan found himself walking closer, drawn by something he could not name. The little girl noticed him first, her big brown eyes going wide. "Mommy, that man is very tall." The woman turned, and their eyes met. Ethan felt something shift inside his chest, like ice beginning to crack. She smiled, not the calculating smile he had grown used to at these events, but something real and open. I apologize," she said. "My daughter sometimes forgets her indoor voice." "No need to apologize," Ethan replied. surprising himself with how easily the words came. She is right. I am quite tall. And she is quite observant, the little girl giggled. I am Jamie. I am 6 years old. What is your name? Jamie. We do not ask strangers personal questions, her mother said gently, though amusement flickered in her eyes. Ethan, he said, crouching down to Jamie's level. And it is very nice to meet you, Jamie, who is 6 years old. I like him, Mommy, Jamie announced. He has kind eyes. The woman's cheeks colored slightly. I am so sorry. I am Nora Bennett. This is my daughter, Jamie. We volunteer here sometimes. Jamie loves the art classes they offer. Ethan stood, extending his hand. When Nora placed her hand in his, he felt that same crack in the ice widening. Her handshake was warm, confident. The volunteer program is wonderful. My foundation helps fund it. You are Ethan Montgomery, Nora said softly, recognition dawning. Your speech was beautiful. My sister works in pediatric oncology. She says your donations have saved countless lives. I only write checks, Ethan said, uncomfortable with the praise. People like your sister do the real work. But without the checks, the work could not happen, Nora replied. That matters. They stood there, hands still clasped, until Jamie tugged her mother's dress. Mommy, can the tall man see the butterfly room with us? Please, Ethan should have said no. He should have made an excuse and left, returning to his safe, empty penthouse. But looking into Jamie's hopeful eyes and seeing the gentle encouragement in Nora's smile, he found himself nodding. I would like that very much, he said. As they walked through the museum together, Jamie chattering happily between them, Ethan felt something he had not experienced in 4 long years. Hope. Maybe. Just maybe. The walls he had built so carefully were finally ready to come down. A glimmer of tomorrow. The butterfly room was magical, filled with living butterflies in a climate-controlled habitat. Jamie's face lit up with wonder as colorful wings fluttered around them. Nora watched her daughter with such pure love that Ethan felt his throat tighten. She is your whole world, he observed quietly. Nora nodded. Everything I do is for her. Being a single mother is not easy, but seeing that smile makes every struggle worthwhile. You are doing an amazing job, Ethan said, meaning every word. Their eyes met again, and this time neither looked away. In that moment, surrounded by beauty and innocence, Ethan Montgomery began to believe that perhaps his story was not over. Perhaps the best chapter was just beginning. 3 days after the gala, Ethan found himself doing something he never did. He was nervous. Grace had helped him find Nora's contact information through the museum's volunteer directory, and he had sent a carefully worded message asking if she would like to meet for coffee. Her response came an hour later, warm and friendly. I would love to. Jamie has art class Saturday morning. There is a small coffee shop near the museum. Does 10 o'clock work for you? Now standing outside the tiny cafe called Bean Dreams, Ethan felt completely out of his element. This was not a boardroom negotiation. This was not a business meeting. This was something real, something that mattered, and that terrified him more than any corporate takeover ever had. Nora arrived right on time. Wearing jeans and a soft green sweater that made her eyes sparkle, her hair was pulled back in a simple ponytail, and she carried a large bag filled with what looked like art supplies. You came, she said, her smile genuine and bright. Did you think I would not? Ethan asked, holding the door open for her. Honestly, I was not sure. Billionaires do not usually have coffee with museum volunteers. There was no judgment in her voice, just honest observation. They ordered their drinks and found a quiet corner table. Ethan noticed how Nora greeted the barista by name, how she knew exactly what kind of muffin the older gentleman at the next table preferred. She belonged here, woven into the fabric of ordinary life in a way he had forgotten how to be. Learning to open up. Tell me about Jamie, Ethan said, genuinely curious. How did you end up volunteering at the museum? Nora's expression softened the way it always did when she spoke about her daughter. Jamie's father left when I was 4 months pregnant. He said he was not ready to be a parent. I was 26 working as an assistant curator, barely making ends meet. When Jamie was born, everything changed. She became my reason for everything. It must have been incredibly difficult, Ethan said quietly. It was. But it was also the best thing that ever happened to me. Jamie taught me what unconditional love means. She showed me that family is not about biology or perfection. It is about showing up every single day, no matter what. Nora took a sip of her coffee. The museum offered me a better position 2 years ago. The volunteer program lets me spend time with Jamie while pursuing my career. It is not glamorous, but it is ours. Ethan felt something twist in his chest. Here was a woman who had faced abandonment and financial struggle, yet she spoke with such grace and strength. No bitterness, no self-pity, just honest love for her child. "You are remarkable," he said, the words escaping before he could stop them. Nora blushed slightly. "I am just a mom, doing my best. But thank you." She studied him carefully. "What about you, Ethan? Grace mentioned you work constantly. What drives someone who has everything to work so hard?" Sharing the pain, Ethan hesitated. He never talked about Victoria, about the humiliation, about the walls he had built. But something about Nora's open honesty made him want to trust her with his truth. 4 years ago I was engaged, he began slowly. Her name was Victoria Sterling. I thought she loved me. I told her something very personal, something I had learned from my doctor. My fertility is compromised. The chances of me fathering children naturally are very low.
Oh.
Nora's eyes filled with understanding, but she said nothing, letting him continue. I thought she would understand. Instead, she shared my private medical information at our engagement party. She told her friends I was defective, that I could not give her the heirs she needed. The story spread through our social circles within hours. The engagement ended, but the damage was done. Everyone knew. Everyone pitied me or mocked me. Ethan, Nora breathed, reaching across the table to touch his hand. That is horrible. She had no right to betray your trust like that. After that, I decided it was safer to be alone. Work does not betray you. Success does not humiliate you. So I built walls, buried myself in my company, and convinced myself I did not need anything else. He looked at her hand on his, feeling the warmth spread through him. Until I met you and Jamie at the museum. Suddenly, those walls started feeling like a prison instead of protection. A growing bond, the coffee date stretched into lunch, and lunch stretched into a walk through Central Park. They talked about everything. Nora shared stories about Jamie's creative adventures, like the time she painted the bathroom wall because she wanted to bring the ocean inside. Ethan talked about his work, but also about his mother, Patricia, who called him every Sunday worried that he was lonely. She sounds wonderful, Nora said as they walked beside the lake. She is. She keeps telling me that Victoria did me a favor, that anyone who would treat me that way was not worthy of my love. Ethan smiled. Mothers always know best, I suppose. I usually do, Nora agreed. My mother passed away when Jamie was 2. She would have loved being a grandmother. I miss her wisdom every single day. They sat on a bench, watching people jog past, children play, couples hold hands. Normal life, beautiful in its simplicity. Can I see you again? Ethan asked. Maybe meet Jamie properly, spend time together as friends. Nora turned to him, her eyes searching his face. I need to be honest with you, Ethan. Jamie is my priority. I do not date casually because I will not bring men into her life unless they are serious about staying. She has already been abandoned once by a father who did not want her. I will not let that happen again. I understand, Ethan said, respecting her protectiveness. I am not asking to rush anything. I just know that meeting you both felt like waking up after a very long sleep. I want to see where this goes, at whatever pace feels right for you and Jamie. Nora smiled, and it was like sunshine breaking through clouds. Then yes, we would both like to see you again. Sunday in the park, the following Sunday, Ethan met Nora and Jamie at the Central Park Zoo. He arrived early, more nervous than before any business presentation. He had dressed casually, jeans and a sweater, trying not to look like the billionaire everyone knew him to be. He just wanted to be Ethan, the man spending time with people who made him feel alive again. Ethan? Jamie's voice rang out across the plaza. She ran toward him, her little legs pumping fast. her mother jogging behind her trying to keep up. Without thinking, Ethan crouched down and caught Jamie in a hug. The little girl wrapped her arms around his neck, and something inside him melted completely. "I told all my friends at school that my tall friend was taking us to see the penguins today," Jamie announced proudly. "Did you?" Ethan laughed, looking up at Nora, who shrugged with an apologetic smile. "Oh, she's been talking about you all week," Nora admitted. "I hope that is okay." "It is more than okay," Ethan said, standing with Jamie's hand in his. "Shall we go see those penguins?" The afternoon was magical. They watched sea lions perform, laughed at the monkeys swinging through trees, and stood mesmerized by the snow leopard's grace. But the best moment came at the penguin exhibit. Jamie pressed her face against the glass. Watching the birds waddle and dive, "Mommy says penguins mate for life? That means they pick one partner and love them forever. Is that true, Ethan?" "It is true," Ethan confirmed, glancing at Nora, whose cheeks had colored. "I think that is beautiful," Jamie said solemnly. "When I grow up, I want to love someone forever like the penguins do. Do you want that too, Ethan?" "I do," Ethan said softly, his eyes still on Nora. "I definitely do." An honest conversation that evening. After Jamie fell asleep in the car on the way home, Ethan and Nora sat on a bench outside her apartment building. The night was cool, and Ethan had draped his jacket over her shoulders. "Today was perfect," Nora said. "Jamie adores you. She asked if you could be her friend forever." "I would like that very much," Ethan replied. "Nora, I need to tell you something. I have not felt this way in years. Being with you and Jamie feels right in a way nothing else has. I know it is soon, and I know we need to take this slowly for Jamie's sake. But I want you to know that I am serious about this. About us." Nora turned to face him, vulnerability and hope mixed in her expression. "I feel it too. But Ethan, you need to understand something. Jamie and I are a package deal. Loving me means loving her, being present for both of us. Can you handle that? Really handle that?" "Nora, when Victoria left, she made me believe that my fertility issues meant I could never have a family. That I was somehow less than other men because I could not father biological children easily. But spending today with you and Jamie showed me something important. Family is not about biology. It is about love, about showing up, about choosing each other every single day." Eddie took her hand gently. "I may never be able to give you more biological children, but I can love Jamie as if she were my own. I can be the father figure she deserves, the partner you need. If you will let me try." Tears filled Nora's eyes. "You already are, Ethan. You already are." Wiped away her tears with his thumb, then slowly giving her every chance to pull away, he leaned in and kissed her. It was gentle, sweet, filled with promise and hope. When they parted, both were smiling. Moving forward together over the next 2 months, Ethan became a constant presence in their lives. He attended Jamie's art shows at school. He helped Nora prepare for a major museum exhibition. He learned to braid hair, albeit poorly, and how to make the perfect grilled cheese sandwich that Jamie loved. His business partner, Robert Chen, noticed the change immediately. "You are smiling again," Robert said during a meeting. "Actually smiling. Who is she?" "Her name is Nora," Ethan said, unable to hide his happiness. "She has a 6-year-old daughter named Jamie. And Robert, I think I am in love." "Then do not mess this up," Robert advised. "Real love is rare. Hold on to it." Ethan planned to do exactly that. The walls around his heart had crumbled completely, replaced by something far better. Hope, love, family, everything he thought he had lost forever was suddenly within reach. More beautiful than he ever imagined. It was a crisp October morning when Ethan's past came crashing back into his present. He was in his office reviewing quarterly reports when Grace knocked urgently on his door, her face pale and concerned.
"Sir."
"Victoria Sterling is in the lobby. She insists on seeing you." Security asked if they should escort her out, but she says it is urgent and personal. Grace's tone made it clear what she thought of the situation. Ethan felt his stomach tighten. He had not seen or spoken to Victoria in 4 years, and he had been perfectly content to keep it that way. But curiosity, and perhaps a need for closure, made him nod. Send her up. Stay nearby in case I need you. 5 minutes later, Victoria walked into his office looking exactly as he remembered. Perfectly styled blonde hair, designer clothes, and that confident smile that once made his heart race. Now, it left him completely cold. "Ethan," she said warmly, as if they were old friends meeting for lunch. "You look wonderful. Success clearly agrees with you. What do you want, Victoria?" Ethan remained standing behind his desk, keeping distance between them. She moved closer, her perfume filling the space. "I made a terrible mistake 4 years ago. I was young and foolish, focused on all the wrong things. I have grown since then, done a lot of thinking. I realize now that I let the best man I will ever know slip away." "You did not let me slip away," Ethan said coldly. "You betrayed my trust, humiliated me publicly, and showed me exactly who you were. I should thank you for that clarity." "I know I hurt you," Victoria continued, unfazed. "But people make mistakes, Ethan. I am asking for another chance. We were so good together. We could be again." She reached out to touch his arm. "Think about it. We move in the same circles. We understand each other's world. We could have everything we once planned." Standing his ground, Ethan stepped back, removing his arm from her reach. "We could never have what I have now, Victoria. You taught me an important lesson. You showed me that some people love conditionally, based on what you can give them, or how you make them look. Real love is nothing like that. Real love." Victoria laughed, but there was bitterness in it. "Has someone convinced you they love you, despite your little problem? Let me guess, she does not know yet about your fertility issues. Or maybe she thinks she can fix you." "She knows everything," Ethan said firmly. "And she does not see me as broken or something that needs fixing. She sees me as someone worthy of love exactly as I am. That is something you never did." Victoria's expression hardened. "Who is this woman?" "Some gold digger who sees dollar signs. Her name is Nora, and she is worth 100 of you. She is kind, genuine, and loves unconditionally. She is teaching me what real family means." Ethan walked to his office door and opened it. "This conversation is over. Grace will see you out. Do not come back." Victoria's face flushed with anger and embarrassment. "You are making a mistake. She will leave you too when reality sets in. Everyone knows you cannot give a woman what she really wants." "Goodbye, Victoria," Ethan said quietly. "I genuinely hope you find happiness someday, but it will not be with me." After she left, Ethan sat heavily in his chair. His hands were shaking, not from fear or doubt, but from anger that Victoria had tried to poison the beautiful thing growing in his life. He pulled out his phone and called Nora. "Hey," her voice was warm and bright. "I was just thinking about you. Jamie wants to know if you are coming for dinner tonight. I am making spaghetti, her favorite." "I will be there," Ethan said, his tension already easing at the sound of her voice. "Nora, I need to tell you something. Victoria showed up at my office today." There was a pause. "Are you okay?" "I am perfect," Ethan said honestly. "She wanted me back. She thought she could walk back into my life and pick up where we left off. But standing there looking at her, all I could think about was you and Jamie. How you make me feel whole. How being with you both feels like coming home." "Ethan," Nora said softly, emotion clear in her voice. "I love you, Nora. Bennett. I love your strength, your kindness, your beautiful heart. I love how you are with Jamie, how you see the best in everyone. And I am completely in love with that little girl who calls me her tall friend. You are my family now. Both of you." "I love you too," Nora whispered. "So much it scares me sometimes. Come home to us tonight. We will have spaghetti and watch Jamie's favorite movie and just be together." "That sounds perfect," Ethan said. "I will bring dessert." Family united that evening, sitting on Nora's couch with Jamie asleep between them after the movie. Ethan felt a peace he had never known. The apartment was small compared to his penthouse, filled with Jamie's artwork and secondhand furniture. But it was filled with love, and that made it the most beautiful place in the world. "She is out cold," Nora whispered, brushing hair from Jamie's face. All that excitement wore her out. "Let me carry her to bed," Ethan offered. He gently lifted the sleeping child, marveling at how light she was, how completely she trusted him. In her room, surrounded by drawings of butterflies and rainbows, he tucked her in carefully. "Good night." "Sweetheart," he whispered, kissing her forehead. "Love you." "Daddy," Jamie mumbled in her sleep. Ethan froze. His heart seemed to stop, then restart with a powerful surge. He looked at Nora, who stood in the doorway with tears streaming down her face. "She has been asking if she can call you that," Nora said quietly as they returned to the living room. "I told her she needed to wait until you were ready." I did not know she would say it in her sleep. "I am ready," Ethan said, his own eyes wet. "I have been ready since the moment I met her. Since the moment I met you. Nora, I know we have only been together for 3 months, but I have never been more certain of anything in my life." He got down on one knee, pulling a small velvet box from his pocket. Nora gasped, her hands covering her mouth. "I have carried this box for 2 weeks, waiting for the perfect moment. But tonight, hearing Jamie call me Daddy, I realized there will never be a more perfect moment than this. Nora, Bennett, will you marry me? Will you let me spend the rest of my life loving you and Jamie? Will you let me be the father she deserves and the husband you need?" The answer that changed everything. Tears poured down Nora's face as she dropped to her knees in front of him. "Yes. Yes. 1,000 times yes. I want nothing more than to build a life with you." Ethan slipped the ring onto her finger, a beautiful sapphire surrounded by diamonds. "I chose sapphire because it reminded me of the first time I saw you, in that navy dress at the museum. The moment everything changed for me." They held each other, crying and laughing at the same time. When they finally pulled apart, Nora looked at the ring in wonder. "It is perfect. You are perfect. I cannot believe this is real." "Believe it," Ethan said, kissing her tenderly. "You saved me, Nora. You and Jamie showed me that my worth is not determined by biology or what others think. You showed me that family is built on love, not genetics. That I can be a father, a husband, everything I thought I could never be. You were always those things," Nora said firmly. Victoria was too blind to see it. "But I see you, Ethan, all of you, and I love every part." A new beginning. The next morning, they told Jamie together. The little girl screamed with joy and jumped into Ethan's arms. "Does this mean you will be my real daddy forever?" she asked, her eyes wide with hope. "Forever and always," Ethan promised. "If you want me to be." "I want that more than anything," Jamie said seriously. Then her face brightened. "Can I be the flower girl at the wedding? And can we get a puppy? And can we have pancakes for breakfast every Sunday?" Ethan and Nora laughed, their hearts overflowing. "We can definitely discuss all of those things," Nora said. Over the following weeks, Ethan introduced Nora and Jamie to his mother, Patricia. The older woman took one look at the three of them together and burst into happy tears. Finally, Patricia said, hugging Nora tightly, "Finally, my son has found what he was looking for. Welcome to the family, both of you." Robert Chin threw an engagement party where Chicago's elite met the woman who had captured Ethan Montgomery's heart. Some whispered, remembering Victoria's cruelty, but most saw the obvious truth. Ethan was transformed, radiating happiness in a way he never had before. The wedding and beyond, they married 6 months later in a small ceremony at the museum where they first met. Jamie walked down the aisle as flower girl, scattering petals with serious concentration. When Ethan saw Nora in her simple white dress, he could barely breathe. "You are the most beautiful thing I have ever seen," he whispered when she reached him. "You are crying," she teased gently, wiping a tear from his cheek. "Happy tears," he said. "The happiest of my life." Their vows were simple but profound. They promised to love through difficulties, to support each other's dreams, to build a family based on respect and kindness. When the officiant pronounced them married, Jamie cheered loudly, making everyone laugh at the reception. Ethan danced with his new wife, then with Jamie, who stood on his feet while he waltzed her around the floor. "Are you happy, Daddy?" Jamie asked, looking up at him with complete trust. "I am the happiest man alive," Ethan answered honestly. Full circle 1 year later. Ethan sat in a lawyer's office with Nora and Jamie. They had spent months going through the adoption process. And today was the final hearing. The judge, a kind woman in her 60s, smiled at them warmly. "Mr. Montgomery, you understand that adoption is a permanent commitment? That you will be legally and emotionally responsible for Jamie for the rest of your life?" "I understand completely, Your Honor," Ethan said, squeezing Jamie's hand. "This is not a duty or obligation. It is the greatest honor of my life. Jamie has been my daughter in my heart since the day I met her. Today just makes it official." The judge signed the papers. "Then congratulations. The adoption is complete. Jamie Bennett Montgomery, you now have a father who chose you, who fought for you, who will love you forever. That is a very special thing." Jamie launched herself into Ethan's arms, wrapping around him like a koala. "I love you, Daddy. Thank you for choosing me." "Thank you for choosing me back," Ethan whispered, his voice thick with emotion. Nora joined the embrace, and they stood there together. A family united not by biology, but by something far stronger. Choice, commitment, unconditional love. The gift of perspective that evening back in the home they now shared. A beautiful townhouse filled with Jamie's artwork and Nora's books and Ethan's photographs. They celebrated quietly. After Jamie went to bed, Ethan and Nora sat on their back porch, watching the stars. "Do you ever think about Victoria?" Nora asked softly. "About what she said to you?" "Sometimes," Ethan admitted, "but not with pain anymore. She was wrong about so many things. She said I could not give a woman what she really wanted, but she was wrong. I give you and Jamie everything that matters. Love, presence, commitment. Those things are worth more than biology could ever be." "You know," Nora said thoughtfully, "in a strange way, I am grateful to Victoria. If she had not hurt you, if you had not built those walls, you might never have been at the museum that night. We might never have met." "That is a terrifying thought," Ethan said, pulling her close. "I cannot imagine my life without you two now." "You are everything." "We feel the same way," Nora said, kissing him softly. "You are our everything too." Inside, Jamie slept peacefully, surrounded by love and security. Outside, Ethan and Nora held each other under the stars, grateful for the journey that brought them together. The billionaire who thought he was broken had found wholeness. The single mother who feared being alone had found partnership. And a little girl who wondered about fathers had found the best daddy in the world. Love had conquered fear, healed wounds, and built something beautiful from broken pieces. And it would continue to do so, one day at a time. For the rest of their lives together, epilogue 5 years later, Ethan stood in the same museum where everything began. He was unveiling a new wing dedicated to arts education for children. As he cut the ribbon, he looked out at the crowd and saw his family. Nora, now the museum's director, beaming with pride. Jamie, now 11, already showing artistic talent that amazed everyone. And between them, holding both their hands, was their son Thomas, adopted 2 years earlier at age 3. "Family is not about biology," Ethan said in his speech. "It is about love, about choosing each other, about showing up every single day and saying you matter to me. Every child in this program will learn that they matter, that they are worthy of love and attention and investment, just like someone once taught me." He looked directly at Nora and smiled. She smiled back, her eyes shining with love and pride. In that moment, Ethan Montgomery knew he had everything he ever needed, not because of his wealth or success, but because of the love that filled his heart, the woman who made a millionaire forget. His perfect life had actually taught him what perfection really meant. It was not about having everything. It was about having the right things, the true things, the things that made life worth living. Love, family, purpose, connection. Those were the things that mattered. Those were the things that lasted. And those were the things that made Ethan Montgomery finally and completely whole.